Hello, 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 and welcome. My name is Lee Cara. Welcome to Morning Light. Here at Morning Light, we like to consciously and proactively connect with divine with the intent and the purpose of both individually and collectively shifting reality. Sounds big, I know. All right. And if it's not morning where you are, it is morning somewhere. And so feel free to watch this show any time of day. Right, where we going? There we go. Oh, sorry. Technology. It goes beyond me. Evidently, I'm cringe. um, there we go. So it's morning somewhere. You are free to watch this any time of day that you want. It does not have to be morning where you are, but I like to take a moment each and every day to connect with divine in a very proactive way. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. Let's take a look at our agenda. Oh, I hit the wrong one again. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Take a look at our agenda. We're going to start with turning on our light. I have it listed out here. That way, if you want to jet after something or fast forward to get to something, you'll have an idea of where it is. So first, we're going to turn on our light. We're going to consciously and proactively connect with the divine and turn on that energy. Then we're going to shine it on a topic for the day. And our topic today is pollution. And I say it that way for a particular reason. I use that word for a particular reason, but we'll get into it. Then we're going to pull a rune for the day. And then we're going to jump into something called diffuse the news. This is a little bit more difficult for people. I'm choosing very easy topics here at the beginning. So we're also going to relate diffuse the news to pollution. And what we do during Diffuse the News is we look at the news not as right or wrong, but we shift our perspective on what it is. We look at the core of it and we shine our beautiful divine light coming through us on the issue with healing and understanding and empathy to heal all sides, to shift the situation, and to do it on a collective energetic level. And then we jump into live readings. If anybody is still around, I will pull some cards for you right here in this moment for the group, a collective read. And then if anyone is still around, I will just pull some cards for people live. I am working out glitches in a new program. So I do have my phone and my Facebook up. Feel free to share me. That would be lovely. But I have it up so that that way I'll be able to see comments, because last week y'all were commenting from my profile page, and evidently Melon doesn't support comments from the profile page. But I have my phone, and so if somebody wants to comment, they are free to jump in there and do that. And I will hopefully see it. I like the show to be very interactive after we get through the prayer stuff. And so let's jump into that portion right now. Our mission here at Morning Light is to change the world by shifting our own perspective, seeing ourselves and others through divine light, and recognizing that how we look at a thing changes a thing. It's a scientific principle, like an Einstein thingy, where something is changed by the observer. A thing is changed by the person looking at it. So if we change how we're looking at something, that thing changes. For example, If you are looking at this, let me tick, tick. Okay. So if you are looking at this lighter like this, it has a decoration on it. It is a lighter with colors, correct? If you change your perception, there we go. This is still a lighter. This is no longer a lighter with colors, is it? Or maybe it is. If you saw this first. Hi, Katie Q. If you saw this first, would you call this a lighter with colors? Would it shift how you saw it from now on? So that's the space that we're looking at. We are like astronauts, and this is our vessel. And we, the astronaut, is a piece of the universe, creator experiencing itself. And so that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. That's our mission, is changing how we experience our world and how the world experiences us. How we see the world shifts the world. All right. We are all connected. Divine light, creator, source, God, whatever you like. It is the energy of life, the spark of creation that animates all things, a Mobius strip of pure love, continuously fueling the experience that we're calling life. Each of us carries that light within us. It is the electricity in our brains, and we are each the whole, playing an individual role in the story of life, recognizing that it's all an illusion and agreeing to play along for shits and giggles. Unconditional love. What is unconditional love? Unconditional love is the frequency of God, the frequency of divine, the frequency of the light. It is the energy, the ambient energy around all things. It is the energy that surrounds us. We each carry a direct line to this light, to unconditional love, simply by turning our joy and allowing it to shine from within us. That light is unconditional love, love without conditions. Imagine the deepest mother's love times infinity, and earning that or getting that through self love, intense self love. And I know that many of us didn't have parental units that were loving in an unconditional way. So we have to imagine it, we have to visualize it, and lean into our knowing of all the lifetimes that we have had, and the knowing of our faith, of our divine connection that will help us to understand unconditional love in the 3D plane. And these exercises that we're doing are going to help you to embrace that, because when you can connect with that unconditional love of divine, it is a direct connection to God, to the light of the universe, and your life and your manifestations and your the way that you're creating reality will exponentially change. As we love ourself, we are worshiping at the altar of our own creations. The unconditional love is love without conditions, and it is the ultimate love of a creator for its creation. All right. We are creating reality with our thoughts and our actions. And if you believe that you are creating reality in your own life, then by extension, your thoughts in this life are manifesting our 3D reality. So every time we look at the world and go, that world is going to hell in a handbasket, you're adding to it. You're putting another tick on, yes, that's what reality is. But that's not the reality that we want to see. We need to begin seeing the reality as we want to see it, superimposed over our 3D, so that we can shift. And that's what we're doing. So now we're going to turn on our light. You're going to turn on your light. Let me take a little sippa, a little cuppa, and we'll do. All right. So first I want you to take a deep, deep breath. I don't want you to think about what you have to do later today. I don't want you to be anywhere else but right here, right now. And the purpose of this, when I say turning on our light, is to really open the flow of that frequency, that divine connection, whatever you like to call it. I'm not big on semantics. To me, it doesn't matter what you call things. You know what you mean. So we want to connect with that divine light within us. We want to connect with that energy. When we do that, everything in our life will start to flow differently. We start to see things differently. We start to shift into a space of joy. And the more often we can use it, the better we get at it. It's like a muscle that you have to use over and over again. And the only way to grow your muscles so that you can use it, the only way to grow your spigot to unconditional love is to turn it on over and over and over again until it's dripping all the time, until it gets a small stream all the time. I want you to turn that faucet on so often that that light water, light, ocean, God pours out of it all the time into your life. So we're going to take a deep, deep breath with that in mind. And I want you to be right here, right now, in this moment. And I want you to kind of lift a little bit into your mind, into your observer space. Kind of let go of feeling the earth around you and paying attention to anything. I want you to focus inward right now. And as you focus inward, I want you to think of something that brings you awestruck joy. Awestruck joy. When you look at a puppy, when you look at a baby, when you look at a beautiful scenery, when somebody does something that really shocks you, like a stunt or something like that, I want you to take a giant breath in. That breath, that excitement when you see something, that awestruck joy, that moment beyond words, that is turning on your light. That is embracing that divine fully in a second. And the longer and the more often that you do that, the easier it will be to pull it up. And if you really do it, like really pulling into it as a reality, you may get goosebumps, right? So I want you to do that. And as you pull that energy in of seeing that baby, I want you to hold that energy at the top of your shock and awe for as long as you can. And you see it, and you get into that lightheaded, joyful space beyond words. No words, just joy, excitement, surprise, connection. And I want you to stay with that as many times as you can. And you may need to think of it over and over again. You may need to hold it. You may be able to just bring it up and do it. You might have to pause this so you can sit in it for 15 or 20 minutes, whatever floats your boat, y'all. So we're going to sit in that energy. And if you need to pull it one more time before we do the next part, go for it. Pull yourself another little spot of joy so that you can feel those goosebumps. You might feel it tingling in your gut. I tend to feel it in my sacral and my solar plexus and in my heart, this little center spot here. So as we sit in that energy, I want you to picture yourself starting to glow from within. And you're glowing with a beautiful light. My light is golden, almost white in how bright it is. What color is yours? As we shine it out, we start to expand it into the room. So we're lighting up the room with this light that's shining from within us. And then we're shining it into our entire home, into the whole building. We're expanding it into our yard. We expand it into our neighborhood. We expand that light glowing from within us to encompass our town, our city, our state, our county, our province, our country. And we picture it expanding until it expands the entire globe. And we're visualizing the entire earth encompassed by our beautiful light. And then we see it get brighter. We didn't think it could, but it got even brighter and it starts to pulse. And then it shoots outward from within in a wave that comes back and holds us. sitting in that energy. Let's shift into shining that light. You may think that doing these things after the fact might not be helpful, but all time happens all the time. So everyone who has ever done this and everyone who will always do this is doing it right now with you, with us. So now we're going to shine that light that we just grew, encompassed, we really rooted it, we turned it on. Now we're going to shine that light and focus it specifically at the issue of pollution. We're going to focus our light on the energy of pollution. We are going to look at those people who are the perpetrators of pollution. And we'll start small with just those who do things like throwing their cigarette out the window or spitting their gum out on the ground. Maybe they let their garbage fly out the window as they drive down the road. Maybe you're one of those people who used to drop the diapers and leave them in the parking lot as you changed your child. Those are the little things in pollution. So we're going to focus our light and shine it on that. That those who do those sorts of things merely out of habit, merely out of convenience, not out of malice, that those folks have a little bit extra incentive to keep this earth clean, to throw their stuff away, to use an ashtray inside of the car, that we are shifting our perception of them, not as perpetrators of something that is destroying Mother Earth, but rather as those who are stuck in the matrix, who are stuck in the habits. And we shine our light to break them free from those habits without blame, without judgment. Now we look at the perpetrators in corporate America. We look at those perpetrators who overproduce clothing, who allow microfibers to get into our water supply, those who don't clean up their nets, those who are still using technology from years ago that continues to poison our earth. I want us to focus on those companies and corporations and see them not as evil, but rather as inanimate objects that were programmed with the outcome of profit, period. And what we are going to do is we are going to focus our energy on connecting with those people who run those corporations that do that. And we're going to shine our light, knowing that divine will open their heart, will open their mind to seeing another perspective to how they are affecting the earth, and to put in place things that will shift our earth. We know that this will happen. We believe that this will happen. And now we visualize the 5D utopian outcome of an earth that is sustainable, that is not destroying its ozone, that is not destroying its ocean, that is not poisoning its food supply, that is not poisoning itself. We see that beautiful vision superimposed over our current 3D earth. And we hold that vision within us. And now we shine it, we project it over the entire earth. Beautiful, perfect, absolutely spectacular, eco-friendly, sustainable, green and blue earth. All right. All right. We have turned on our light. We have shined our light out into the world on pollution today. That's going to be our topic for Diffuse the News if you want to join us over there. And, take a moment or two to come back. If you need to pause it, feel free to pause it and come back. And let's step into our next little bit, and we'll just chitty chat and kind of shake off the prayer a little bit. Let's do it this way, and we'll switch. Let's see. Can we switch it that way? Okay. Well, hello. Again, I'm still learning how to use this technology here. All right, so let's chitty chat. I hope you have a little cuppa. I hope y'all are doing well out there. let me tell you, I'm living in a new location. I've relocated from a more, I'll say coastal town, coastal-ish, into a mountain town. In fact, I am in a town that is considered one of the highest elevations in the state that I am in. And so the weather has been very different. I lived in Florida before that for like 30 years. So living in Florida, it's very warm, it's very hot, it's very flat. Living where I was before on a coastal, mid-Virginia, it was warm, but not super, super hot, but also very flat. Where I am now, lots of mountains, very nice, beautiful, mild winter. I think one time we got up to like 85, maybe once or twice. So I say all that to say this. Yesterday was the last day of summer, specifically, I believe. And yesterday it was like 77 here. It was a warmer day. It's been cold, it's been a little rainy, but yesterday was beautiful. Blue skies, absolutely gorgeous. Today, which I guess would be the first day of fall or an in-between time from summer to whatever comes next, it is gray. It is overcast. It is rainy. It is cold. I don't think it's even hit 70 yet today. So, like, that's almost a 10-degree difference from this time yesterday to this time today. And it is so dark in here. It is so dark in the house. I literally have like lights on everywhere. So, this weather is definitely very interesting. And it'll be my first winter here. Are you guys fans of winter? Do you have winter where you are? What is the weather like where you're at? Give me some comments. Let me know how your weather is going, how you shift into your seasons and what your favorite one is. I like fall, I like winter, I like spring. Not a fan of summer. The heat and me, we do not do well. I am almost clear. So I burn in a second. It is very uncomfortable. All right. Chitty chat has uh commenced. We're out of our space where we're feeling kind of dreamy still. So let's jump into the rune of the day. We'll change this. Come back over here to the studio. And let's see what we can do like this. Okay, there we go. So let's pull a collective rune for today, the day where we are discussing pollution. It's needed here today, right? It's a double rune day, y'all. It's a double message day. Get excited. All right. So I pulled two runes. The first one that I pulled is actually not a rune. This is my stone for friendship. It was given to me by a very good friend about 2 decades ago. So I always associate this with friendships. So the universe wants to talk to you about your relationships with others. And this is Jira. It is the harvest. And it speaks about almost a specific time period, like a cycle of tending the ground, tending the friendship, stepping into it and planting the seeds in your own life. It is really up to us to be as healthy as we can mentally, spiritually, and physically, so that we are attracting people into our lives that support the journey that we're going on. And oftentimes we are planting the seeds based on our trauma and pain. We plant seeds based on unfinished storylines from our past, from our childhood, where we did not get resolution from a parent, from a sibling, from a person of authority. And we try to seek out people and friendships and connections that will mimic the dynamics of these relationships and give us an opportunity to jump in and to embrace them and fix it. But we're not fixing it with the person who hurt us. We try to fix it just for our own resolution, almost like not seeing the end of a movie. So it's speaking about this reaping. You've prepared the ground within yourself. You plant the seeds for what types of people you want to have around you that will support you on this journey. And you then have to cultivate those seeds through your choices of action and through your choices of thoughts. Are you thinking and saying things that will continue to attract those people that put you in that mindset in the first place or that don't support you? Or are you thinking and taking actions in such ways that you will be attracting people from a more healed space? We don't want to attract people to continue old lessons. We want to get the resolution on that lesson outside of a relationship with someone through our own exploration. And then we want to shift into the space of attraction. If you are attracting while you are wounded, you will attract your wound. So this is what the rune of the day is, and it has a little parody here, a little remember the old story about the farmer who was so eager to assist his crops that he went out at night and tugged on the little baby shoots. There is no way to push the river. Equally, you cannot hasten the harvest. Be mindful that patience is essential for the recognition of your own process, which in its season leads to the harvest of yourself. As you plant the seeds of self, you will harvest those who allow you, encourage you, support you, create an environment around you that you have created by attracting them that supports your growth and your expansion inwards and out into the world. So that is our rune for the day. There we go. Let's jump into this next spot. This next spot that we're doing is called Diffuse the News. Ping. How we think about and look at an issue can shift reality. That's exactly what we've been talking about all morning. That's what we do here every day. We work on shifting reality from a space within us, being the change we wish to see in the world. So in this segment, Diffuse the News, we will be taking a look at stories in the news and actively diffusing the story through unconditional love. We're not debating right and wrong, but rather we are focusing our light on the wounds of the world, and we're focusing on healing. And I do want to warn you, this work is not for the faint of heart. Trigger warning, it requires a willingness to embrace the sins of the world as our own and love the perpetrators beyond this 3D reality. This is a very difficult segment for people. It ties deeply into forgiveness. If this intrigues you, but you get mad every time I start to talk about this kind of stuff, please go into the playlists here on YouTube or even on Facebook, and you can find lots of videos on forgiveness. I'll talk about facing the fire, looking at the news. If you are a light worker, if you believe that you have a purpose here, your purpose is to shine light on the darkness. And if you refuse to look at things that are dark and to see them as just an extension of the energy of light, of our own divine creation and balance, right? Then that's where we make that change, is we shift how we look at it. We diffuse it. That is the light worker's work, is to look at the things that are considered evil and to shift how we see them, thereby shifting the collective opinion. And that's a real thing. It's a real thing even beyond faith. It's a real thing just with changing opinions. One mind at a time is how change happens. It doesn't happen because a million people change their mind at the same moment, although it does happen that way sometimes. But more often, it's one person at a time changing how they feel about a topic because they've had different exposure, because they've had different education, and because they've had a different perspective on that situation. So today our topic is pollution. And what we're going to talk about when we're talking about pollution, again, I want to focus on the pieces of it that can be shifted. I want to talk about the piece of this that can be shifted by us. So the first thing that we need to do, like I said in the little easy part, is we have to look at those people who pollute. And if you're somebody who gets real mad about that kind of stuff, who gets real mad about the pollution stuff, some people call them like social justice warriors or whatever it is, and you're very organic, eco-friendly, all that kind of stuff. I love that. I love that. Reducing the carbon footprint, all that kind of stuff. But there are many of us, those of us who are old people, and there are some younger people too, who really have more things to think about in our mind than that. We don't pay attention to that because we think, what is my one piece of paper? What difference is my bag, plastic bag, going to do? What difference is my plastic bag going to make in the grand scheme of things if I throw it on the floor? What difference does one cigarette butt make in the grand scheme of things if I throw it on the floor? But we all know the answer to that. The ocean is filled with single drops of water, and our earth is filled with single cigarette butts. And it could be filled with single cigarette butts, you know? So this is the space where I really want us to look at that and that mindset of it's easier, it's cheaper, it's not important, right? On a personal level, I want us to really look at that and shift our own mindset. Maybe you might have some of those thoughts. I know I do. I think it's a pain in the butt, and you usually have to pay extra for it. And if you can't pay extra for it, you can't. But there's usually recycling centers in everyone's town. So if you have something big, for example, again, I'm an older person, I'm in my 50s, so all this recycling stuff to me, it has always seemed kind of like, hey, I'm trying to raise two kids, I'm working in a restaurant, I'm barely making ends meet. I don't care which box my metal and my plastic goes into. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I totally get that mindset. But now that we are in this space, right? What we want to do is to us project, send out, focus our energy towards those who have that mindset, towards that mindset within ourselves, right? Because we're starting this shift from within. And recognize that even something small that we do makes a difference. If you use a lot of cardboard boxes, say you get tons of Prime Video, Prime deliveries from Amazon, use a cardboard recycling place for all your boxes. Maybe put them all in your extra room or put them in the back seat of your car and swing by and throw them out. If you use jugs of water, you know, or your kids drink juice or soda out of cans or out of bottles, you know, make that be the one thing that you do and have somebody drop them off if you don't have like a dedicated recycling in your town. Shift your own understanding of it, your own space of it. If that makes you mad, start doing some research on why. Start doing some research on the changes in our world. When I was growing up, in the 70s, I was a kid, they would have these ad campaigns where give a hoot, don't pollute. There was the one with the crying Native American overlooking the field full of garbage. You know, they really put a lot into these PSAs for kindness and pollution and cleaning up after yourself just to make it a normal thing. You can change the entire world in one generation if you focus your message at them. What message are we focusing at our generation, at our younger generation? This is where we need to shift. So we're going to do that shift within ourselves, right? We're going to send our energy out that other people can make the same shift. It's super easy, right? It's an easy shift to make. You know, think of it in that way. We want to shift the collective energy of this issue to become one that is much simpler and actually benefits you more to do it than not to do it. So now we're going to take this, expand it one level out to your city. Does your city have recycling? Do you even know? Does your city council want to do recycling? Are they interested in some of the new grants that are in the infrastructure bill for creating a more sustainable city system? Maybe this is something that you're actually interested in and want to do some research on. How much money can your town get? If you live in a small town, it can make a huge amount of difference. I live in a very small town now, and I know that they used, you know, chunks of government money to create spaces that were vital during the pandemic. They didn't know they were going to be vital, but having these spaces paid for with this money from the government really helped. So that's another shift that we can make, is that the universe is constantly trying to accommodate our goals, whatever they may be. We just have to know what our goals are and stay focused on those instead of the destructive thoughts that we tend to have. The this place is garbage. Look at all this trash. This place is ugly. This place is ghetto. This place is disgusting. Oh, I would never be here. Oh, it smells like pee. All of those things. We have to start to shift how we judge them, because we are the ones making the change on the planet. And if we take this on a grander scale, and it pisses you off that companies are taking shortcuts uh, to save money when it comes to recycling, when it comes to pollution, when it comes to dumping chemicals, et cetera, et cetera. This is nothing new. Capitalism and the climate, the pollution on our planet have never gone hand in hand in a way that benefited the planet. They only go hand in hand to benefit profits. And that's because corporations are set up with one goal. Their entire structure is created with one goal, and that is profit. And unless a company bakes into its goal that the health of the planet is as equally important as the profit, then we will stay in this space where we are, where profits are more important than the damage that we do to the environment on a human scale, on a physical human scale. And so what we're going to do at this point is we really want to focus our energy on those companies, right? So the structure is non-animate, is an inanimate object, like Google. Google is an inanimate object. Facebook is a tool. It's an inanimate object, right? Facebook is not love you or hate you. It shows you what you're interested in based on your eye movements, what you pause on, what you engage in, what you look at. Our world is exactly the same way. So what we want to be pausing, looking at, and engaging in when it comes to pollution is we want to be looking at the bigger picture of this balance between profits and the health of the planet, right? And we want to take that to a space of practicality. Okay. Now, we aren't environmental scientists. Maybe some of you are. We aren't people who run companies, CEOs. Maybe some of you are, but most of us are not. The great thing about this sort of a work that we do by shining our light, by turning on our light, by affecting the world around us, is that I don't have to know the details of how it gets done. I just have to be able to visualize it already finished and focus on it so strongly that the universe makes it happen. So what we're going to do is we want to focus on the people working in these corporations who are polluting. And we want to affect their mind, their heart. We want them to raise the importance of Mother Earth. We want Mother Earth to be more important or as important in their mind as wealth. Wealth is an energy and it comes when I call. And we want people's lives, our planet, to be as important as wealth within the corporate structure. And so within the minds of the workers, of the leaders in these corporations, we're focusing on a shift, just as we focus on that shift within ourselves, that money and the harm to our planet have equal weight within the company. And it is restructured all the way down from the top to make that change. That's how we're diffusing today. All right, let us jump into this last bit. I believe that is going to be readings. Ting, ting. Yes. All right. So now we are going to do some live rune and tarot readings. And if you want a reading, please comment open in the comments. You can ask your question in your head. You do not have to type it into the comments. If you are on my Facebook page, I will be looking at the comments any moment. I'm going to open up stream. I'm going to take a look so that way we can do some live readings. Let's jump back over here. I will pull a card for the room. All right, let's pull a card for the room here. So I want to build on this harvest, this Jira card. I'm going to use my vintage deck from the early 80s. And again, I'm going to pull up, before I shuffle this, let me just pull up my here so that I can see any comments. All right. So we want to pull for the entire room, and I want to build on that Jira, on that 1 year as it connects to friendships. So tell me a little bit about how we can achieve this Jira, how we can really, what we need to focus on to get through that building stage, because it can definitely be challenging. Here, let's switch this. Ting, ting. No, wrong one. Okay, here we go. So I'm still learning how to use this little bit here. Come on. I want to be big. There we go. I'm big. Okay. If you would like a reading, there we go. Okay. Yes. Now, anything I say comes from unconditional love. I don't know you. I don't know your situation. I'm not judging you at all in any way, shape, or form. Nothing I say is meant to make you feel bad or shameful. Okay. How can we focus on this? Tell me a little bit more about that Ace of Cups. One more card. One more card. I feel it. I feel it. So expanding on this Jira, this card is coming out so much lately. I'm telling you, y'all, we have so many retrogrades right now. We have so many retrogrades right now. I know that not all of you are watching it in the exact same time period as we are. But whenever you are watching this, all time happens all the time. So that energy, you're going to be feeling. Okay, so we were talking about friendships and breaking these chains of finding our old relationships and our new friends. And we wanted to be planting seeds and cultivating within ourselves, healing those old wounds so that we're not repeating these patterns. And what I was asking was, how do we support this message? How do we support this action within ourselves? And so we ended up with, let me see, that's a little bit too bright, huh? There we go. The Ace of Cups. Now, aces are divine messages. Aces are about what they're like gifts from the universe. And the cups are about unconditional love. And they're about unconditional love of self more often than anything else. And so it's really talking about giving yourself the divine love that is within you, loving yourself as divine, seeing yourself through divine perspective, and loving yourself as divine loves you. And the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Truth. Pull the sword out of your back and use it as your strength, not for attack, but rather as an understanding and a knowing of the wounds that you had that are no longer there, and the memories of the new behavior, the memories of the old behavior that is inspiring your new behavior, your new choices. To respond in truth, to see yourself through truth, to love yourself in a truthful way, to love yourself in a way, there we go, nice and close. That sword of truth, when we speak about ourselves, when we speak about our friendships, when we speak about the things that we allow and the ways that we are shaped by those around us. And along with that, we have, this was a chunk that came out as a sentence. And this is how you can overcome this, okay? How you can stop recreating those patterns in your friendships during this Jira, during this harvest, okay? So we want to focus on ourselves, right? That unconditional love of self. We want to focus on the unconditional love of self. We want to speak truth to ourselves and be accountable. But we also have to learn to shift ourselves into the objective. We also have to learn to be the type of person that is able to examine a situation and see it from all sides, to examine a situation and be objective in our decisions facing that. Along with that, we got the hangman, because we can use those different perspectives to change our perspective. We can use that objective viewpoint to change our perspective on what is happening. And if you'll notice, this hangman does not look worried. He does not look scared to be hanging there upside down. If you turn him this way, let me get it so it's right in the front. He actually looks serene, like an angel with the light behind him, right? And that serenity is the peace that you need to hold while you are looking at this situation from an objective point, so that you can find balance, so that you can find the balance, right? Which is, we were talking about balance and pollution, right? That the profits and the environment are equally important. What in your life needs to be equally important? I would say you need to be equally as important as the friends that you have. You have to find the balance in that love, the objective space where you start seeing things from a new perspective, so that you can find that balance in those friendships. All right. So this was episode 3. I don't know if there's anyone out there who wants a reading. If you want a reading, you are welcome to say I'm open in the comments. I don't see anybody there. So I think we're going to head on out. I appreciate you so much. I'm so grateful. Let's do all the businessy things at the end. And yeah, let's jump into this. Mm-mm-mm. There we go. All right. Okay. So unleashyourlight.org, Unleash Your Light Ministries, is dedicated to bringing a message from the universe of unconditional love and connection with divine. Unleash Your Light Ministries will never put this message behind a paywall. I will never put lessons behind a paywall. I will never put readings behind a paywall. But that means I read for who I'm drawn to. And I bring the message when the message comes through. That's why I don't have a regular schedule for the show, because the universe tells me when to go on. The light of the universe is always free. The message should not be behind a paywall. However, I do accept donations. The universe allows me to say yes and accept donations and tips and trade and services and connection, whatever it is that we can use to expand the light. I'm down. I'm down. The way that you can support me without paying for something or sending me money is to visit the website, unleashyourlight.org. Sign up for my newsletter. I don't send it out all the time. In fact, I don't know when the last time I sent it out was, but I might send one out once or twice a month. Um, Read some of the blogs on the website, watch some of the videos. I have well over 200 videos on YouTube and Facebook, ranging in topics from forgiveness to being an empath to spiritual attacks to spiritual traps, religious dogma and spirituality. Can you do both? I have topics, just so much. Scroll through some ads, click on some affiliate links. I have some free spiritual texts there, like I never say it right, Bhagavad Gita. I don't think that's right, but you know what I'm talking about. So, and the what's the other one? The Tao. I have the Tao on there also, and several others. So that's how you can support me. That's how you can support the show. That's how you can help to spread the word and expand your own base of knowledge. I always say that spirituality is really a path that we each kind of drive for ourselves. We each are digging out our own path on this spiritual journey. And whatever you're doing, if it's working for you, good. Whatever path you're on, if it's leading you towards unconditional love, if it's connecting you with divine, then it's the right path for you. So always know that you are beloved, you matter, and you are so very loved. If you want to find me anywhere else, this is where I'm at. And yeah, it's another day. I hope you go out there and shine your light in a way that is beautiful and unique and life-changing as you move through the energies that we're all in. Be the change. Start with yourself. Oh, wait, one more thing. Ting. Be the change. Start with yourself. Shift your perspective. You are beloved, you matter, and you are so very loved.